Right, so we're back. Anyway, for anybody who caught that the previous video, we finally have M2 Yuzuha. It wasn't actually that expensive either. I only went. It took me about one pity to get 2 copies of her. I didn't lose a single 50-50. That was crazy. Yeah, so M2 Yuzuha. This actually ended up being better than I thought it was because at first I didn't realize if you guys saw that last video. So I figured for some reason, even though it says right here once every 20 seconds, the chain attacks triggered by her EX special or whatever, whenever she does a heavy attack, which is EX special. Actually, I wonder if her ult does it. Anyway, the point being is that you'll trigger a chain attack into your quick assist, or actually, I think it just chooses. You can choose whoever you want. Which now that I think about it, leads to more possibilities. Anyway, yeah, the point being was that like my brain didn't comprehend because if you look here, actually, where's a good example of that? I don't actually have a good example. Like this 30 energy is once every 180 seconds or whatever. I'm trying to think about. There's an example of like you can do this one thing, but only once per match, and I forget who has some kind of skill like that. Anyway, point being, long story short, is I thought it was like once per match you get that chain attack, and I was like, well, when she comes in, she EX specials, chain attacks into Jane Doe, and then she gets to start every match now with Passion State, which is like the biggest thing for Jane, because building up that first Passion State is a huge DPS loss. But now that she just starts out with it, fantastic, right? But again, I didn't realize it was every 20 seconds. So the reason I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting because I don't have to use it on Jane every time. Because if you guys were watching that video, there's certain times where like Jane has full Passion State, and I need to refresh my buff. So there's no reason to go into Yuzuha, but it's like I gotta go refresh the buff. I was like, wait a minute, I can just chain into Vivian and have her, because what the other problem ends up being is that now Vivian has a hard time maintaining her bloom feathers, but now I can just do that, right? So anyway, that's enough of that. That's just me gushing over the fact that I finally my user has completed, as one might say. So here's what I'm thinking. I kind of wanted to use double Aether Veil here, so I wanted to use Zhao with Sunna. However, I think, let's see, control. What am I looking at here? Yeah, so the other thing, partially, I needed to have something here to boost her. And there's really no one else who's like on that level, so we're just gonna go with Zhao. Then here, we're gonna do this team because no one else is using Dialyn. Like I could use Dialyn here, but Trigger is the only stunner I have that'll fill out her requirements. Just Soldier 11 has like not weird requirements for her additional ability, but this build isn't final. I'm still thinking about it. Her additional ability requires someone of the same attribute or faction. The only person from her faction I have is Trigger. Her attribute, if I want a support unit, it's gonna have to be either Lucy, which again Lucy's decent, but she's nowhere near like high enough level for Deadly Assault right now. Or I'd have to replace Trigger with what's her name? You guys know who I'm talking about. Where is she? This girl over here, Kaleda. Right, I have to replace Trigger with Kaleda, which again, it's not a bad thing. I like Kaleda, but she just doesn't compare to Trigger because Trigger gives you a 55% damage buff, plus just a bunch of like defense shred. I don't know. It's just Trigger has way too much to give her up. So this is kind of the team I have to go with here, which means that no one's using Dialyn. So I'm using Dialyn here. But the other thing that's pretty cool about this is that somewhere here, I don't know where. I thought it was like a. If you stun it, if you stun the boss, I thought you would get some kind of bonus, but it doesn't look like it. How do we even get these stacks? So we get one. So every time they swap back and forth, we get a stack of contract and self-sacrifice. Do I care about any of this? Not really. The stunning doesn't matter, but Dialyn also has like a 40% damage buff plus her 30% crit damage buff from the set that she has on, and she also increases the stun damage multiplier. So We get a 60% stun damage multiplier active at all times using Shunguang. So we'll just go in here. We'll take this. Why not? This is her build. Her build is a little iffy. I'm debating. Actually, what I might do is I just might swap this off. Yeah, because obviously, here's the build the way I'm thinking about it. But I might, like, this isn't going to change. This isn't going to change. That's fine. Yeah, the only thing I have that I can change on this build is this piece. So the question is, do I run this piece or do I run this piece? And I'm probably just going to run this piece. Going 6% over is probably better than being like 6% under. You know what I mean? Well, it's 0.6%, so it's not 6% over. It's 0.6% over. And the other one is putting me, you know, point whatever under. The bottom line is the reason I kind of wanted this one more, the 3% crit damage more, is because she already gets a lot of attack from. Normally I run her with Xiao and Sunna. Them together give her like 1100 to 1200 attacks. That's already a huge attack bonus. So you're kind of oversaturating that. So I was like, okay, let's take some attack and funnel it into crit damage. And it's okay if we lose some crit chance in the process. But again, the fact that I don't have that 1000 attack from, what's her name, from Xiao. Instead, it's replaced by her 30% crit damage from this buff, plus a 40% damage buff from her kit, as well as another 30% from her stun damage multiplier. It's probably just better to have her at her best. So this is her build right now. We're going with this. 100% crit, plus pen ratio. Dialyn, this is her kit. Now, I have the ability to run her, where is it? At max crit rate, but I'm going to sacrifice some of that for a little bit more just damage. Because this piece kind of sucks if you compare it to like this piece right here. This piece is just phenomenal. So I'll take the hit on crit chance to get +3 crit damage and +1 attack, right? Whereas this had no crit damage on it. So just having her do a little bit more damage, I'll take that over losing 1 crit chance. And 1%, 1 crit chance roll, we're losing like 1 or 2, maybe 2 to 4 impact or something like that. I don't remember exactly. I'm not going to calculate it out, but that's kind of what it is. This is her gear. Again, the fact that this also gives her 20% impact is like ridiculous. She's already too stacked as it is. So in terms of her stunning capacity, losing 1 or 2 is not that big a deal. I'd rather just have a little more damage. But this is all her gear. Pretty good, I would say. Sunna, we're losing about 100 attack points because I swapped her off of. I used to have her on 2-piece Astral Voice, but I'd rather just have her have maximum energy. And lose a little bit of attack bonus. It's not that big a deal. These are her skills, and this is her set. I'm still working on grinding this out, but it's going to be a while because Swing Jazz isn't really worth grinding for anymore. Like, there's other sets you should be farming. So it's going to be a while before I replace any of this stuff. This one obviously could be replaced like a +2 or +3. If I get a +2, it's not going to fix her attack percentage. I'd have to get this to +3. Let's see if I can find a +3 here. Somewhere. What's this? No. That's a +3 in flat attack. Well, let's just use this as an example. If I find Moonlight Lullaby at a +2, it's still not enough. So it needs to be a +3. Let's see if I can find a +3 somewhere. Here's one. Okay, so let's see if I get a. So I'm barely off. I'd have to get a +3, and then one of these other ones would have to get like this. I'd need to get this to be at least +2 with a flat attack on here somewhere. This would have to have flat attack on here somewhere, or, you know. Anyway, the point being is that over time, I'll eventually grind this up to where it needs to be. But for now, if I can remember what I did with that piece. Is it this one? I'm pretty sure it's that one. Anyway, getting +2 plus with some flat ones isn't bad either. Like, this would probably be better for her. No, actually, it wouldn't be better for her. Anyway. Actually, what's this? Yeah, see, but this is Astral Voice. So anyway, the point being is that I'd rather have the energy to just have her spam out her EX special more often to get the buffs up. The Ether Veil to make sure we just spam out Yixingwang's alt state. Than just have slightly more attack. I don't know. You could calculate this out to see how much your attack buff would be. But I can't be asked. So you have to maximize it you have to get 35 to hit the max. So anyway, I'd rather just hit this. And then obviously the weapon we have is Kaboom the Cannon, because she can actually take advantage of it. She actually doesn't take advantage of this buff very much, the damage buff. So Kaboom the Cannon is just kind of what she's stuck on. Yeah, and I didn't really feel like pulling for her weapon because it wasn't really worth it. Kaboom the Cannon is close enough that it's not that, don't worry about it. So this team is relatively cheap. Shunguang, it's just her with her weapon. Dialyn plus Sunna. This is a 4-cost team. Yeah, so. This would be even cheaper with Zhao, right? Because it's her with her weapon. It's Shiyuan with her weapon. Zhao doesn't count because she was free, and I'm not using a 5-star premium weapon on Zhao, so that doesn't count either. So it's a 3-cost team if I use Zhao. So, whatever. Let's just get in there. I hate this phase. Like, you just gotta stand around doing nothing. Let's just ult. May as well, right? Come on. Okay. You just have to hit that last bit on her her EX thing with the paper. To get the debuffs that she has. I'm biffing this hard. We're just gonna hit him with this. I'm gonna ult him, because why not? Do this. I'm just gonna ult here again. Now I'm at the point where I have way too many, I have way too many ult states to burn through. So I have this one, then I also have Dialyn's ult state that I can burn through. I'm being so suboptimal, like, managing her rotations. Because basically when it comes to Shunguang, all you have to do is get as many ult states as you can without wasting resources. So, like Dialyn, I wasted a lot of time on her by not triggering her thing. Because I'm just like, after that, you're just stacking... There's an ult here. Yeah, so despite the fact that we were super inefficient, we still got like 40 or something. I don't even know. So 43. It's just that Shunguang is just ridiculous. There's really no other way to put it. The thing is, and you notice this when you play, what's it called? Hollow Zero. Hollow Zero, the enemies in there are not designed to deal with what Shunguang does, because all the enemies in there, half of their damage, half of their like difficulty comes from the fact that they have so much daze resistance that like you can only get one maybe one, maybe two stuns on the boss, especially if you're running with max like difficulty modifiers. On max difficulty modifiers, you're limited to 3 minutes for every boss, and the way the difficulty's set up is they're so stun resistant that you only get one, maybe two, and that's if you're having like premium stuns, right? Like if you're using Dialyn or Trigger or something like that, you might get two, but most of the time you're only getting one. But the point being is that, like, not only that, but there's those stun windows, they shrink them by like half, I think. I don't know. They shave some time off. So not only does it take longer to get the stuns, it also, the stuns don't last as long. So you get less window to DPS, right? Anyway, the point being is that one of the things with Shunguang is she just makes Hollow Zero a cakewalk, because now you don't have to worry about stun. That stun damage multiplier is active through the entire fight as long as Shunguang has her ult state, right? So I don't know, it breaks the balance of Hollow Zero a lot, which I find kind of hilarious. But the reason I bring that up is because it's transferable over to this a little bit, where it breaks the balance of some of these bosses. Because some of these bosses have very controlled stun windows, where it's like, okay, this boss can only be stunned for this many times. But the fact that Shunguang here is, the Shunguang is here, means that you have as many stun windows as Shunguang has ults, and there's nothing the boss can do to keep that from happening. That you can make the boss like as stun resistant as you want, and Shunguang doesn't care. So yeah, it's interesting dynamic there. So there we go, another one in the bag, S rank. This one's probably gonna be a little shorter. I'm probably just gonna cut it off here because there's not a whole lot else to do. But yeah, otherwise, I'm sure Miyabi wouldn't be too bad here. You do get, where is it? Each stack of self-sacrifice reduces the defense. So when they're stunned, they take 50% more crit damage, which is this right here. The only thing I missed out was optimizing getting Shunguang's, because when you press her, when she goes into ult state, at the beginning, there's an instance of high damage, that like ult damage, and then at the end, there is like a big old chunk of damage again, right? In the middle, you still get a lot of damage. It's just the beginning and the end have like these bigger hits. So to maximize this, I'd probably have to make sure, because this is what I was looking for earlier. The reason you want to stun this boss is because while the boss is stunned, you do get 50% more crit damage. So I should have made sure to optimize this. I'd probably want to do, when the boss is stunned, use Shunguang's forced ult, go in there, burn it as quickly as possible, swap into Dialyn, cheat out another Shunguang ult with Dialyn, and then burn that one as quickly as possible to make sure all that damage happens within the stun window, and then go from there and just kind of continue doing whatever, right? So that's probably what the best way to have done that is. But again, we're like splitting hairs at this point. I think I'm only going to get maybe another 2,000 to 3,000, so 45 is probably the highest. I'd like to see if I can reach 50. I kind of doubt it, but we'll see. So yeah, that's that. The next one, I'm probably going to do Pompeii. The question I'm debating is whether or not I should do... I might try both for the video. I might do Soldier 11 and then also do Minato, just to see who does better. I'm pretty sure Minato might still do better, but my Soldier 11 is pretty gnarly. She's not like the best build. You guys can see here, I have her on this, because while we're missing the 20% electrical damage, you still get 48 crit damage here, another 30 here, and then whenever you use basic, special, or aftershock, she doesn't use aftershock, but basics and special attacks she does use, you get another 30%. So 60 here plus 48 here is 108 crit damage. So that's obviously, I feel like that's going to be a lot better than this, because first of all, she can't really keep this stacked up as much as you'd like. 8 stacks for attack percentage is not too bad, but just you don't have enough crit damage and all that. So yeah, I think I might just run her. Actually, this is actually a pretty good build. I don't remember her being built so well. Crit rate. Yeah, well, let's just go with this, I guess. 77% crit chance isn't bad. Yeah, so we've got a 2-to-1 ratio. I might want to boost up her crit chance a little bit more, so we might have to swap this out for this one. This might be better. 85 crit chance. The crit damage is a little low, but you have to remember we're also getting 30 from her set, as well as I should be talking about this in the next video. you know, whatever. Plus, we're missing another 60 here, so that crit damage is like way higher than what it says there. So I think 85 is the way to go. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video.